Hello and welcome back. You're here with Crystal from Crystal Clear Coaching. Still sometimes unclear when I say that first time with my mumbling Kiwi accent. Love the Kiwi accent. And I know if I put on my Queen's English accent, I enunciate much better. Anyway, we're here today. It is another 27th of January, and you know what this means? You don't? I'm going to tell you, don't worry. So I actually moved to Australia on the 27th of July last year. So that's 6 months. I have been in Australia for 6 months now, as of today. Which is wild. It actually kind of feels like it's been longer, to be honest, because when you're in a new environment, everything feels new to your brain. There's more freshness, let's put it that way, less monotony. So yeah, feels like I've had at least 10 different lives since that last 6 months, especially because I have moved so many times. To start with, I stayed with my friend Steph for most of the first week, but I also stayed with my friend Jason for a couple of nights that week. And then I moved down to the Gold Coast. I was hosteling for at least a week. Then I did a month house sit, my first one, with 2 kitties. Shout out to my mate that I was house sitting for. Well, she's my mate now. We like to go to singing things together. And yeah, now, and then where else did I go? Where did I go after that? After that, I moved to another hostel in Surfers, a different one, and then that one ran out of time, so then I went to another one in Southport, and then that was just for a night before I started. Then I did a few day house sit, and then I went back to that hostel, Podstale, for a few nights, maybe a week. I want to say at least a week, maybe 9 days actually. And then I had a 3-week house sit in Madraba. Then I went after that. What did I do after that? Oh no, between the hostel and that house sit, I also spent 9 days with my mate up in Brisbane in the Logan area, and she'd just had a whole bunch of puppies that she was raising. So there was a bunch of miniature toy poodles and sorry, not miniature, just toy poodles. That was amazing. That was beautiful. Love that. So much fun. So cute. Yeah, then I went to my 3-week house at Madraba. Gosh, what next? Like, and this is up to, October 31st, basically. That's how many different places I stayed in that time frame. And then I went to a different hostel for the night. Then I stayed with a friend for 3 nights in Tamborine Mountain. Then I went, what did I do next? Then I stayed in Southport again because I was starting work, and was in a nice, beautiful, seedy hostel for a couple of weeks then because the price is right. And then my lovely friend had a room that I could rent for a few weeks, so I did that. And then what did I need? Then I did a 6-week house sit. Now we're getting to here. And then that finished a couple of weeks ago, and I am back renting from a friend for the foreseeable future. But we'll see, because when I can get a house sit, it's a good time. So yeah, quite a ride. And that's just the places I've been staying and how much I've moved. And in that time, I've also worked at a creche that isn't a gym, so that's looking after kids. So surprisingly, a lot of people didn't know what a creche was when I said it. Anyway, just helping look after kids while their parents are working out, their mums are working out. So yeah. And then I also, in that time, said goodbye to my darling Grimmin, my grandmother. She moved to the spirit world, and I wasn't able to go home to say goodbye, which sucked. But it was what it was because I had commitments over here. And yeah, what else? Been doing my retail job for a few months now. I think that started mid-October, and then that's been keeping me pretty busy. And I love our team over there. Got a wonderful team and just the most beautiful clothes and crystal jewellery, and it's just such a me store. I am super happy with that job, so yay. Then I've been going to lots of networking events over that time. I've been to at least 5 different ones, not to mention a couple of open mic nights or karaoke kind of vibes. Different friendly meetings, social things. I've looked after so many pets. I don't even know, I could count them on 2 hands at this point. It's been quite the ride. Definitely a lot more flavour than my previous 6 months before that. So, yeah. I'm just sharing a bit more of a personal story today. And look, I spent the couple of years at least before I made that call just over 6 months ago to move to Aussie, questioning should I go to Aussie for a while, and putting it off, but also just feeling like there wasn't much for me in New Zealand at that time. I still see a future in New Zealand. I still see myself heading back there and having a life back there at some point. But I just knew I needed something different to shake me out of some bad habits, some bad ways of being, but also just get myself in a new energy. And I have definitely done that. I do have many more hopes and dreams for the future, of course, but it's just 6 months is a milestone when you move to a new country, especially, or a new city, because it is so many ups and downs. Like, there's the excitement that first kind of month where everything's amazing and wonderful, and you still got the money, and then the money starts running out and you're still looking for the work, and then it starts to get a little more stressful, and then you don't have your regular support network around you to rely on, so you have to be there for yourself. And there's some moments where you're pretty dark and you don't feel great, so it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Moving countries is hard. I don't actually give myself enough credit for that usually, because I'll just wait for the spin. I have done it. If I can count moving back to New Zealand, this is the 4th country I've lived in. So I, moved from New Zealand to the UK, to London. Spent 2 years there, 2013 to 2015. Then came home for 2 years. So technically that's moving back, so that's moving countries, but slightly less chaotic when you're going home. Then I moved to Vancouver in 2017 to 2019. Moved back home to New Zealand. Was there right up until mid-2025, and then moved to Australia. So, yeah, technically I moved country 5 times, but, back to my own country 2 of those times. So, but yeah, those 3 foreign countries that I've moved to, it's about 6 months to the 12-month mark where you finally feel like you're starting to settle in, you're starting to get a bit of a routine, stability and all that you feel the homesickness less. But yeah, you're starting to create connections and feel a bit more supported in the local area. So I'm just kind of coming into that hopefully up and up period now. I honestly feel like I've been going into it for the past month or so, but before that I had some hard moments, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, but I also know it was exactly what I needed to do. It was just part of it. It's just part of it to go through the hard moments. yeah, and I've made it extra hard for myself because I decided to house it and thus not get a flat and thus, try and save money that way. And, maybe if I'd just taken a full-time job and been able to pay for rent, I would have been a lot more stable. But hey, we're doing it for the plot, aren't we? So, yeah. Hindsight, eh? But, yeah, I've had lots of adventures because of that. It's very different reality than when I moved to Canada, for instance. I had booked 2 weeks at a hostel. And maybe I had one night at one hostel and then another 2 weeks at the hostel across the road. So, moved so far. And then immediately went to look for a flat, put an ad up for myself as an awesome flatmate, and then that scored me like the best flatmate for 2 years straight in an apartment where it was just 2 rooms, just us. We had our own bathroom each. We had the best apartment with best view and a deck in that building. It was like a 1960s kind of cool retro building as well, and the rent wasn't expensive, and had a great 2 years there, and I stayed there the whole time I was in Canada, for almost 2 years. So like I had a lot more stability with that then, so that I was very lucky with, and this has been the polar opposite because I don't even know how many times, I don't even count how many times I have moved since I've been here, which is why I'm trying to also keep, and the hardest thing is trying to keep my life compact. It is getting a little out of control because I now have a second large suitcase and I have 2 friends looking after things for me. Anyway, it is not all sunshine and rainbows despite potential highlight reels. Not that I've been that good at sharing on social media outside of my stories. Recently, I actually just was trying to put something together to upload, and I still might, but to try and get a good amount of photos and videos from that last 6 months. It's a lot of stock to go through, and that's a lot of editing, and I'm not about editing. So maybe I'll just have to pick a few highlights out of that and just downsize my idea. But yeah, it's wild. 6 months. But also 6 months isn't that long. I'm still very fresh in a way. There's still many things I would like to figure out and do better. But I feel like I'm in a much better place than I was a few months ago, let's put it that way. And just honestly, a better place having moved over. And yeah, I still don't know, like, will it be, will I call it in 6 months and decide to go home? Maybe not, I don't know. Or I might be here for years, I don't know. So I'm just staying open. My plan coming over here was to earn a good amount of money so that I can get ahead again. And yeah, we'll see. We will see how that pans out. So yeah, this is really about me today, but I just would invite you to look for yourself at, what have you done that was actually a profound change in something that you really wanted to do for a long time that you put off, and can you look back, is there something you've done in the past year or two that you've actually done and you're living in the reality now, and maybe you forget that and you don't own that in moments, and you find yourself like still reaching for that next thing, that next desire. Like, can you actually, and this is me inviting myself to do this, can you just be in the moment that you're already in a reality that you dreamed of in the past, that you were like so desperate to get to? I had so many days in the past few years where I was just like dreaming of doing something different, and like the idea of coming to Australia, especially since I took a trip to Australia to finish out my coaching course. We'll do some in person. It was actually the 3rd round I'd done, but just it had all been online until then. So yeah, 2 years ago, in 2023, so over 2 years ago, I came to visit, and I just felt so free and excited about life again, and I just hadn't felt that way in a while, to be honest. I've been doing all this beautiful diving deep work with my coaching, so I've been like exploring my inner worlds for a couple of years instead of my outer world, because I was such a traveller up until the pandemic, essentially. Like, I moved home just before it all kicked off in the end of 2019, and I had travelled so much in 2019 and I was loving it and felt like, oh, we're on the up and up from here. I'd been earning the most money and all this thing, and then I got moved home because my visa was only a 2-year visa, and then just didn't have the funding, and the funding just wasn't there the past 2 years, and it's been a bit of a drag sometimes, I'm going to be honest. And yes, there's things that I could do to have earned money more faster, but it's all like hindsight, to have done things smarter. But anyway, we live and we'll learn, hopefully. But I am now, my point is, after all those roundabouts and different trains going off at different stations, I am now living in reality that I really dreamed of for a solid couple of years, of being in Australia, and spending some time here. And that is something to celebrate. 6 months in, yay. So where are you not celebrating something that you're living the dream in? Even if it doesn't feel like quite so much of the dream when you as when you visualised it, however many moons ago. Just notice. Maybe you're already living part of the dream. Not all of it, because, you always want to have hope and things to work towards in the future, to keep life exciting, to keep yourself engaged, to feel alive. But yeah, I'm living in a reality that I dreamed of. And there's more to come. There's more to come for you too. So I will leave it there for tonight. Thanks for listening, but go appreciate how far you've come, please, and thank you. Much love. See you tomorrow.